Hi guys, this is gsno.com and I'm here with the unboxing of the Sony Xperia XZ2. So it was announced at the end of last month, the Mobile World Congress 2018, and we're dealing certainly with the flagship here. It comes as an improvement from the Xperia XZ1, and the XZ2 brings the premier 4K HDR video filming. It also finally changed the design. The Xperias have long used the same design approach, while this one goes to a new area. So you're here at gsno.com and we are unboxing the Sony Xperia XZ2. Bit of a controversial design, slightly curved, slightly overweight, a bit thicker and heavier than we're used to. And let's remove this plastic thingy here from here. Okay, interesting approach. And the back one too, putting it here, and voila, this is the phone, certainly different from what Sony has accustomed us. For starters, we got the fingerprint scanner at the back, unusual camera placement, and a very glossy back. Feels more like an HTC than a Sony. It's covered with glass, which also means we're getting wireless charging. So Xperia XZ2, Sony logo here, and the price tag is around $900. Not available yet in the stores as far as I know, so we have here a bit of a premiere, this unboxing. Inside the box we've got the following. So we have the charger, and this one promises output up to 12 volts and 2700 milliamperes, so it's got quick charging, nice to say it. There's also an adapter here from USB Type-C to audio jack, because you guessed it, there is no more audio jack. Here we have the manual, very small. Sony is trying not to cut many trees. Startup guide, putting it back, or at least trying to. Here we go. Okay, and finally, last but never least, here comes the USB Type-C cable, full USB to USB Type-C as expected. As you can see, there's no headphones here, but in some countries, some parts of the world, some carriers and retailers will be offering the phone with a special set of headphones. I'm talking about the Sony WH-1000X-M2, which are worth about $400 separately. They will be bundled with the phone in some regions. I guess it's time to fire it up, pressing the very discreet power button here. It's actually very small, and I'm shocked by how heavy and bulky the phone is. I'm talking about 11.1 millimeters in thickness, which is huge nowadays. It also weighs a hefty 198 grams, and it uses Gorilla Glass 5 protection at the front, Gorilla Glass 5 protection at the back. Pretty glossy and pretty different from the Omni Balance approach. It's available in black, silver, green or pink. It's got single SIM version, it's got dual SIM version, and of course we're getting it here with Android Oreo. We're very accustomed with Oreo on Sony's. If I remember correctly, the Xperia XZ1 and XZ1 Compact actually debuted Oreo last fall as pre-installed OS. Okay, not now, skip. Things are pretty snappy. This is Xperia Assist. If I'm not mistaken, this is a new feature, or at least I haven't noticed before. Here we go, quite an impressive background. If it actually moves while we're playing with it, I will be even more impressed. Okay, so this display of icons on the screen is totally asymmetrical, which is an interesting thing to see. They still have 3D Creator, will let you create a 3D model of objects or people. And now let's talk specs. So this is a 5.7-inch screen, also a premiere for Sony, because it has the 18:9 aspect. It's also an HDR screen with a full HD plus resolution. The usual technologies are here. I'm talking about X-Reality, Triluminous, Dynamic Contrast. While inside there is the already familiar powerhouse you've seen on the Galaxy S9, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845, accompanied by 4 GB of RAM. Some countries will have 6 GB of RAM. There's 64 GB of storage, microSD card slot with support for up to 400 GB extra. We have stereo speakers on the device. Not sure where the other one is put. I see there's one here, and I'm guessing this very small slit here is the other speaker, so front stereo speakers. Pretty compact setting zone, and other than that, the battery is pretty generous, 3180 mAh. We have quick charge 3.0, also wireless charging, and on the camera front, let's go to the back, 19 megapixel shooter right here with Motion Eye, G Lens, Bion Z, super slow motion 160 frames per second, 8x digital zoom, autofocus burst, 4K HDR video, 5-axis stabilization, and a special anti-distortion shutter. Basically, with this new camera, you're able to take much better stabilized and much clearer shots, even in motion and even with objects that are moving around. That's the back camera. Now the front camera is a 5 megapixel shooter with a promise of very good looking selfies. There is Bluetooth 5.0, there's LTE category 18 up to 1.2 gigabyte per second, at least on paper. Stereo speakers, no audio jack at the bottom, no audio jack at the top, but at the top we have the tray that holds the SIM slot and the microSD card slot. Now there is also PS4 remote play, there is also DLNA, and as usual I'm going to have a look at the camera UI. It hasn't changed in ages and I'm sure it's the same. Yes, it's indeed the same. Simple, intuitive. We got disappear auto, we got the manual mode with tweaks for white balance, exposure, ISO, shutter and autofocus. There's also mode here. This is for the exposure. If you're looking for other modes, I'm sure they're available. There's HDR, object tracking and metering, and Superior Auto itself offers color and brightness. In the capture area, let's see, you can film in Full HD, 4K, Full HD at 60 frames per second and more. And here we got the special features, panorama, sound, photo, creative effect. I see that AR is no longer pre-installed. And here we can find the super slow motion. I'm already familiar with it. Samsung also adopted it recently. So in a nutshell, this is the Sony Xperia XZ2. Yes, it's big, it's thick, it's bulky, but I have good news. It's not slippery. In spite of so much curved, really curved glass, it's not slippery, and somehow it manages not to look too much like an HTC U11. I don't know how, but it manages that. And frankly speaking, not as ugly as the first renders made it look, and I'm also loving this background, thinking about getting it on other Android phones. So in a nutshell, first contact with the Sony Xperia XZ2, current flagship for Sony. Not as bad looking, actually feels solid in the hand, and it's growing on me more than I would have expected. $900 coming soon in the stores. Bye bye.